All right, everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's a special edition of At the Buzzer for the second time this week. I am your fearless leader, the self-appointed president of the Austin Reeves fan club, Mo Money, and with me, as always, is my co-pilot, the bistro of basketball knowledge. Gee, how you doing tonight, brother?
I'm doing quite well, man. It's basketball fever in here, so I'm just basketballed out of my brain.
Oh man, I've watched so much ball. Maybe that's why I'm single because I watch too much basketball. Maybe that could be an issue.
there's there's a lot of time that's needed to be a true basketball fan, and I've learned that there's only so much time in the day.
There is only so much time in the day.
Act accordingly
Um,
to what you love, and we love basketball here. So shout out to the good game that treats us all.
yeah, and the games haven't been very good at the NCAA level to this point.
Well, I'm gonna have
Oh
to
no,
counter that.
I no, I won't say haven't been very good. Haven't been very entertaining.
Well, I'll have to counter that with a little bit of a couple. There's a couple, but I agree on the whole. I agree in the whole that there's been less chaos and magic of, oh my god, buzzer beater, like scream, what it's known for. There's usually at least 3 or 4 of those moments in the first round, and that didn't happen
Yeah,
this go.
that
So
has not happened.
it's actually brought up
Shout out to
something that we're
McNeese
talking
State
about
though.
here. There's a common theme that keeps coming up between our conversation about the NBA and then a conversation about the tournament here, and I think that's pretty interesting that it's almost the exact same. Uh, I think root problem with both that's causing these lack of competition. Let's say lack of competition is maybe a safe way to say it.
Yeah, because we don't want to call anybody out, but the playing field doesn't seem as level as it's been in years past.
And we don't want to take away the joy of it, the experience of never knowing what happens because you still don't know what happens. You still got to play the game, and it's a great way to spend time and enjoy time watching basketball. But there was a special magic thing that used to really, really get people amped up for this, and I don't see it to your point as much this year, and it's directly related to the balance of power being two different weight classes now. There's the big dogs and there's everybody else, and it's the
Yeah,
same in
but
the
what
NBA. And there's
what
three.
happened to the mid majors like the Gonzagas and the Butlers and those types of
They're,
teams
they're
that
hanging
would go
on by.
on these runs that would give us something to cheer for?
Yeah, I think they either became big dogs or they became food for the big dogs because the playing field has really become like the middle class disappearing. It's like the small got smaller, middle class disappeared, and the big got really, 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 really bigger. it's
I got a question for
way
you, and I know this will tie into college football, but I'm going to bring this back to the NCAA tournament. Do you think the Big Ten and the SEC taking over 20 teams each has something to do with the power struggle now that we're seeing in the NCAA March Madness tournament?
those
Is
are
the fact that it's no longer is it the fact that there are no longer regional conferences that plays a part in the superpowers taking over as they're all in the same conference now?
I think it goes deeper. I think the route that I'm gonna be the harper on is if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. So why would you go to anywhere other than where you're gonna make money? And where you're gonna make money is at Duke, is at Kentucky. It's at you know what I'm talking about? It's if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. No matter what little extraneous things they do on the outside, trying to change that dollar sign figure of moving conferences, moving universities, all these things, it's going to be who has the dollars.
That's taking away the magic of of the tournament, though.
So how do I guess the solution then that I'm proposing has to be more radical than shifting conferences or shifting cap room in the NBA and stuff like this, aprons. I think the actual solution has to go deeper and really shake it up. And I don't know exactly what that is, but I know that until you get to the root of something, it stays, right?
Well, yeah, we just talked about boneheaded GMs and coaches that don't belong before we hit the record button. And I think that's something we had the Daryl Morey discussion just before we started. And how many, what I think part of the problem is too is they make, at least in the NBA, they seem to make it, I don't want to say idiot proof, but they make a fail safe for the GMs so they can't make things too bad.
Hmm. Yeah, I can see that. And something like the Philadelphia situation, it's like, well, that's pretty bad. That's I don't know how you fix that. That's jumping in 2 feet and slipping on two banana peels. I mean, what are the odds of two banana peels? Like,
Well, that
well,
depends if Daryl Morey is your GM
or Steve Kerr, your coach.
or Steve Kerr, your coach. We'll get to Steve in a minute. I just want to fill everybody in on the Daryl Morey thing because I mentioned to you before that I'm not mad that Daryl Morey has swung and missed this time. I'm mad that Daryl Morey consistently swings and misses and is somehow still employed in the NBA.
It's worth studying because whatever he's doing is keeping him employed. So we could all take a note out of that book, whatever it is.
I guess so. And to touch on the Steve Kerr thing, I think he's overrated. And last night didn't really help his cause in my eyes as he pulled a Tom Thibodeau and left Stephen Curry in the game too long. And now you're without him for the foreseeable future.
Oops. There's no room for oops. It better be under circumstances that were preventable, which this wasn't. So that's a bad one on Steve Kerr in my books. Is like this was a preventable thing. This wasn't. I know it's not like predictable or anything like that, so I don't want to be too harsh. But
Oh no, come on! I was real harsh on
but
Steve the other
I
night.
mean, I have to say, if you have principles of like, we're going to play the odds of not pushing our luck, you don't play them in the fourth quarter when the Raptors don't have a single NBA contract on the floor. You know what I mean? It was like Castleton, Battle. I mean, I'm exaggerating a bit. Shed maybe was on, and a couple other guys, and it's like, you don't need Steph Curry on here right now, brother. You like read the room.
No, you don't.
You're playing with fire when you don't need to, and that's maybe the thing that I'm like, Steve Kerr, you might be my
And
the finger wag of the week to Steve Kerr.
Not Timberwolves. Thibodeau made a similar mistake a couple of weeks ago with Jalen Brunson, and now he's out. So that's nothing new for Tibbs, though.
Wasn't that was against the Lakers too, right?
I think so.
Yeah, I remember that. Man, Jalen Brunson, that combination there is such a weird mix with the Knicks. I don't know what they're going to do. That's like they're one of the weirdest built teams in the league. So much runs through Jalen Brunson when he's not there. It's like how do they even operate? Because it
The
all
Knicks
goes
are always
through
a
him.
weird built franchise. They've
Yeah.
always been a weirdly built franchise.
Hmm. Anyways, yeah, they don't excite me in any way. I don't know what it is. All their players just are boring to me and not next level guys. They don't shake me up in that way. They don't get me excited about basketball.
I think Jalen Brunson is the next level guy. I just think he's on the wrong team.
I think he's just a tad overrated because of how much people really can amp him up as like in the conversation of that dude. I'm like, okay, relax. It's a pretty small conversation. Jokic. Shea, Tatum, Giannis.
I would almost take Giannis out of that conversation.
If you had to take one, yes.
Oh, I don't even think I'd hesitate on that. But that's
Fair.
me.
That's fair, man.
That's my hot take
Fair.
of the day.
Honestly, I would put LeBron in maybe over him this year. Yeah,
I don't,
yeah. Why? Yeah, he's
you
played.
know, I
He's played. He's made his team way better with what he has and what he's been doing it with. He's been playing better. Yeah, and so
yeah.
he would be that guy in that. Yeah, but like that's a small group, right? And so to kind of like casually put him in that group, I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa.
No, and I think the word superstar gets overused in our league too.
Yeah,
Because we're so starved for stars
like
that
Donovan
I
Mitchell
think
is, I think, as good as Brunson, if not better. And he's not part of that conversation of like the most elite.
here's another controversial take for you. I don't think Shea's a superstar either. I think Shea's a great ball player. I think he's one of the best ball players. I think he's a top 3 ball player.
Mm.
But when you talk about star, I don't think about Shea Alexander Gilchrist.
Mm. Do you mean
And
more
I
in
think
like
that's
the media
why
surroundings and stuff like that, or do you mean just in on floor dominance?
no, I love his on floor dominance. I mean strictly in a star power sense.
Yeah, like the
He's
Kawhi slash.
yeah, like I believe he's better than most players in the league, including some that we consider stars. However, I don't think he has a star power quality yet. And no disrespect to Shea, I don't think he wants the star power quality that most players have.
Hey man, if he gets it, I don't think he's turning it away, but he's not going to look for it. I think that's the
No,
key.
and
He's
that's what I respect. That's what I respect about Shea. This is not a shot at Shea. This is just pointing out that he doesn't have the star power of of a
Giannis,
Giannis Antetokounmpo. You know,
and not
the
yet.
reason you put
But when he gets a ring on and he gets
the reason you
45,
put
50 points in a finals game, wait for it, bro. Wait for it. Wait till the world meets Shea. I'm telling you, he will become superstar. He's too good not to. You're right on every front, but dude, when he puts 50 points in game 4 against the Celtics, oh buddy, people are going to remember
like
his
I
name.
think I like I said I think he's a top 3 player. So don't
And
misinterpret what I'm
he's
saying,
on the
folks.
smallest market with the youngest team. So there's a lot of like under the radarness to him still. And he's Canadian, so he's not even American. Shout out. The
As
the quietness there. He's not been
As the John
announced, you know.
Campio would say, the good Canadian kid, Shea Gilchrist Alexander.
Yo, quick shout out to number 7 on whatever team that was just playing. A Canadian kid was torching them there at the end. I don't think it was Michigan State. It was the last game, Yukon maybe. No, can't remember. He was
Yeah,
really
there was some blowouts tonight in the
yeah.
now I wanted to get to something else you said before we started the pod. And you're like, this is the dog days of the NBA season because I mentioned that Cleveland lost again. The Pistons lost to the Mavs, you know,
These are all
and
games that almost don't mean anything because they're so.
and the Heat ran the Rockets till the fourth quarter.
The
And
Heat seem to do that.
it was only until the Rockets decided no, we're winning this game in like the last 6 minutes. Like
I think Miami's trying to get a lottery pick, to be honest. If they don't win another game, they think they can get a lottery pick, and that's ridiculous. But I think that's what they're aiming for.
no, because you got to pass Philly and Toronto, and you're not passing Philly and Toronto, and there's
Dude,
no way.
I know. But if you look at the way they've they've lost every single fourth quarter by a wider margin than any team in the last like 5 years. They are
I think they said
throwing.
their last win was on the 3rd of March or whatever it was.
Dude, they've been throwing fourth quarters like nobody, to the point where the analytics just show that, like, hey, man, they're throwing fourth quarter, or they're the single worst fourth quarter team to ever play in the modern era, which doesn't seem true when they can do it consistently for
Oh,
three quarters. So,
Rolla might have your head for that one. Oh,
man, it's hey, they've chosen a lane. They just chose it way too late, I think, because there's no way these guys can just throw fourth quarters like that without there being a bit of some plan. What, you tell me every single fourth quarter you just blow it? That's
yeah, something fishy going on there.
it's when it smells. I'm smelling something. They're my smelling something of the week. We got a finger wag of the week and something stanky over there of the week.
Some stanky in Miami.
Yo, I think I saw the funniest uh, 3 point celebration um, move. I don't know what you want to call it. Where the guys got like they got.
Yeah,
So yesterday, this kid on the sideline on the bench drops to the ground on his stomach and does the full does a full sniper. Oh man.
man, I don't know what's happening. Like my other buddy texts me. He goes, "Everybody's either tanking or resting players. This is ridiculous."
I called it an informal strike. Is that the players have decided, if you're not going to shorten the season, if you're not going to take away back to backs, if you're not going to do any of these things that we really actually need to change the dynamic here, then we're just going to go on strike and not make it official, so we don't have to make a big deal about it. But what else do you call it when all of your guys sit down and don't go to work multiple days in a row? You call it a strike, bro.
Again, this is where I miss Larry Bird. If you get paid to go to work, you go to work. But
Unless you're going on strike. And that's where I'm like, okay, if we're a union going on strike, we're a union going on strike. But they're so wealthy that they can't really go on strike anymore, right? So they have to do it without
no, because
doing it.
it would be ridiculous because you don't get paid during a strike.
Yeah, and God, man, nobody's gonna have sympathy for them if they go on strike, because it's like, oh, you want more millions of dollars to play basketball? So they know they can't win that PR battle,
Well,
so they just
y-
do it. They just sit
you
down.
know what part of the problem is too, though, is the All Star game. If you remember back in the '90s when basketball was actually at its peak, it was a 3 day break. You had the skills on Friday, you had the game on Saturday, or no, you had the rookie game on Friday, you had the skills on Saturday, and you had the game on Sunday, and everybody was back on the court by Tuesday. And now, for some stupid reason, the NBA has decided that the All Star game is going to be a week long, even though we don't do anything. And now everybody's got to play these back to backs because they've extended the schedule essentially to accommodate a week long break during the All Star game. When was that ever a thing?
I'll tell you when they started letting Kenny Powers run the league. The spirit of Kenny Powers has taken over. Think
This
about
is
it, man.
ridiculous.
It's not Adam Silver I'm talking about. It's the spirit of, hey, we're big athletes that can just do whatever we want. So you're going to listen to us. And if you don't like it, you're effing out and I'm effing in. That's how they're starting to act now, right? Because they've gotten so big. I think they're starting to get a Kenny Powers syndrome. They think they're so
No,
big that they can do anything.
they've been like this for they've been like this for 17 years.
But the
And
money's never
I'm not
been this
putting
big.
I'm not putting the blame on LeBron. I'm putting the blame on Ray Allen, Kevin Garnett, and Paul Pierce.
You're going
because
way too. You got to put it on George Washington and Abraham Lincoln and everybody on those dollar signs, man. Because it's like it goes back further than them, man. It's the
no, because at that point it stopped becoming about basketball somehow.
because everybody like, hey man, don't hate the player, hate the game thing. If you're gonna break the game, then either you play the broken game or you quit. So if they quit, that sucks. So they played the broken game, but it is
Yeah, okay, but
broken.
if you take those 4 days off of the All Star break schedule, that's three less back to backs you have to play automatically.
Yeah, it's a tug of war, like where I don't think the league has any actual leverage, but both are kind of stuck in a place where they don't really have enough leverage to do anything big about it. So the players don't
Oh
have
yeah,
enough
there's
leverage,
something
and the
big
league doesn't
coming.
have enough. You know,
I'm gonna tell you something right now. I don't know when the CBA ends, but there will be a
Um,
lockout.
it's a long time away, and who knows what can happen between then and so.
There will be a lockout.
I think there's going to actually be a walkout before that of fans. Fans are going to be done in about a season. If it keeps up like this for another season, I'll put money on it right now, March, whatever, that there will be an empty stadium one of these days where people just don't show up. Honestly, would you? Would
I,
you show up for
I
some
love
of this
the
stuff?
I love the game too much to not show up.
Dude, there's going to be like, let's say your team is 0 and, 65 and they're playing the Wizards that night who are 4 and 80, or 4 and 60, whatever the fuck. You're going to that game?
Right?
You're going to go sit in traffic, pay $25 for a drink to go watch that?
I've
No.
done it before, brother. I hate to break it to you, but I've done it before.
You might do it once or twice, but you're not going to do it forever. And that's the thing, man. They're not going to do it forever. It'll get to the point where it's too expensive to waste your time on that. And they're just hedging that line right now.
I don't know, but
Mm.
I guarantee you, I think there's going to be a lockout.
Something would need to change, and somebody would have to play hardball. And I don't know if either are willing to play hardball because everybody's making so much GD money. It's hard to turn off the tap when everybody's making billions of dollars off gambling money, off of new money, off of global money, and everybody's just making more and more money. The incentive to care about the game first is so hard. It's so hard for business to do that. I think we need people that will make it so, and we probably do have some people out there, but they're up against the Goliath, the
By the
giant.
way, speaking of things that make this league a Goliath, I have to touch on this. The Boston Celtics just sold for $6.1 billion.
Mo money. Yo.
No problem. Holy cow.
Well, this is maybe perfect transition of exactly what we're talking about, man. There's so much money on the line now for these guys that it's almost taken away the magic. It's too much business, and everything is going through that lens now. Like, if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. We won't do it if it don't make dollars. It's like, damn,
And
this is
yeah, but
getting crazy, man. This is getting crazy.
they're costing themselves money. The ratings are an all-time low.
You know what? I
They
just thought
haven't
about
been
the
this low.
antidote.
They haven't been this low since tape delay in the 70s.
Yeah, so much you could argue is technology change and the demographic change where people are just not watching TV. So they're watching it in different ways. They're watching it on their phones, they're watching it on streaming, they're watching it on all these things. But how much are they watching? How much are they engaging? How much is it just sideshow numbers and highlight reels for people? We don't really know because it's all new. But when you see certain guys, of this NCAA, you're seeing young people and you're seeing people get pretty excited about the game and really loving it for its right reasons. And yeah, there's so much good spirit for the game out there that I've got faith, and as boring as some of the NCAA has been on the whole, I still get more inspiration than most NBA games for sure, because it's guys laying it on the line, and they're so young and they're having to deal with that pressure of so much, and it's pretty cool to see guys rise to that occasion and thrive even.
I agree, and that's why I did tune into a little bit of NBA tonight, but I stuck mainly to CBS and the college basketball portion of the proceedings.
It's that time of year, man, and yeah, if the NBA is going to have a slack week, it might as well be this week, because we're not paying attention anyway. So they probably know that, right? And
I mean, the Lakers and Bulls are at 7:30 tomorrow, so
for the diehards, I like the Bulls to try to do something, because they have such a cool franchise and stuff. But boy, that has been a dormant franchise for a long time. We don't need to talk about the Bulls, but just quick side note.
no,
Mhm.
no. I I don't even expect LeBron to make his return tomorrow night because it's Chicago. He'll probably sit back and go, "Oh, the Lakers don't need me to win this one."
No, it's like, man, Illinois is more interesting than Chicago at this point, so forget about it. I think, is that who the Canadian? That's the Canadian kid, number 7 on Illinois, killing him softly tonight, man. He was smooth and slinky like Shea. It's almost like our new thing as Canadians. We're slippery, slithery, freaking 6'6" guards that have this new smoothness. Like Shea's just lethal like that. So is this guy. Have we seen the
So
aura?
with a slack week in the NBA and a lackluster first round in the NCAA.
Well, I don't know. Depending on, it's all about expectations. If you expect to get your regular thing and you don't get it, of course you're going to be disappointed. But if your expectations are
No,
just
but
wide open,
it's not even just that. It's the 80 to 48 scoreboard. It's the 90, like these
that
games
happens
aren't
in
even
baseball.
interesting.
There's always a bunch of games that are not interesting in the first round. It's just the balance of power has spread. And so these first round games, I don't think are going to be as interesting. I think maybe the bigger upsets will be in the second round. So it's just changing. It's just changing because of the dynamic. And if you're watching some of those close games, they're as fun as ever. And when you got somebody to cheer for, like 9 a.m. tomorrow morning, the 12th seed McNeese, you got two storylines going. You've got the head coach, who's, do you know the head coach story?
No, I did not.
Man, I'm not going to be able to tell it very well, but there's a story that this guy kind of got screwed somewhere along the way with something, fought his way up, got this team to where it is, and then he just took the job with a big school somewhere. So after this run, he's going on to the next one.
Oh
And
no, they did mention that when because I was watching the McNeese State game earlier, and
yeah, so
they
it was
said
you had your guy that was
they,
willing to do it. Yeah.
they said that they said that it was funny because they expected McNeese State to roll over because they would be mad at their coach
So this is what
because they
happens.
know
The
he's
second
leaving.
story is what happened, man. And I don't know if you watched it or not, because when I saw the thumbnail, I was just like, ah, more TikTok or whatever nonsense, or influencers on ESPN. How did this happen, man? And it's like, watch the story of the aura or something like that. And
I watched it. I watched it.
dude,
You
I
sent it to
watched
me. I
it,
watched it.
man. And when you watch him in the locker room and the guys around him after that win, he's so locked in and humble with it that I was like, holy shit, this is not a shtick. This isn't even for novelty. They're just doing, that's who they are. And people just started paying attention. And he says that in one of the interviews, man. And I was like, this is the energy that we need for 2025. It's the energy Mo talks about when he's talking about the Mamba mentality. This kid's doing exactly that in real time, like we do, but he's doing it over there, and man, is he doing it well. And it finally got recognized. And there he is on ESPN getting interviewed. And they're like, who would you want to be sponsored by? Because he got 3 nil deals so far.
Mm-hmm.
speak the truth, son. He goes, Under Armour and Nike. And they start laughing. They're like, oh, sure. And he doesn't even smile, man. He's just like polite. He's like, you guys don't get it. I believe I'm that dude. He doesn't say this, but you can see it in his demeanor. Like
But
he,
I say that all the time too. I'm that dude.
exactly. It's dude, you guys would recognize the same spirit because the players recognize the spirit. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? The athletes recognize the spirit. It's there, and who is
And
it
best
there?
believe I like him. Believe when I say it. I'm that dude. I believe it.
Dude, his
So
first interview was that they just like, all I need is 3 words. I'm that dude.
because like when I say one day we'll be sponsored by Pepsi, I believe one day we'll be sponsored by Pepsi.
That's the thing. I was like, damn, that is it. He's just believing, and he doesn't care either way which one thing happens. He's just going to believe exactly what he knows is
Everybody
true.
should believe that. Listen to me.
Exactly.
Listen to me. This is not a basketball thing. I know this is a basketball podcast, but give me 30 seconds.
Yo, that, buddy, take all you need.
Believe in yourselves. If you want something, go get it. Don't listen to anybody. Don't believe anybody. Don't let anybody drag you down. If you want something and you believe you can go get it, go get it.
Hmm.
Don't let anybody stop you. There's my little.
Amen. Well, dude, it was exactly that. I was like, holy shit, I'm seeing our spirit up there, dude. I was like, our best vision, and when we talk about some of these things that I really am like, oh my god, that's the truth. That's what life is all about. And then getting to see it on stage as the viral story, I was like, there's hope, man. There's hope. The fact that people are loving this, it means people get it. They're picking up the vibe that he's putting down, which is exactly what you just talked about. And it's like, believe it, son. And he's got the boom box going around, and
I
it's like,
saw.
yo,
And here's the thing.
gangster.
I'm gonna take y'all back because I did a video where I got emotional in 2021 or whenever Kobe passed away on the helicopter. And just as a kind of fitting tribute thing, I kind of did the Mamba out thing that you hear me do at the end of every video. And I was just gonna do it once, and I did it, and I thought that would be the end of it. And then I got bombarded with messages of where did the outro go? Okay, I'm gonna keep doing it until somebody tells me to stop doing it. And the day somebody from Kobe's camp or whatever tells me to stop doing it, by all means, it's not my thing. I don't intend to make it a big thing. It's just something people ask me to do. So that's how I sign out of all my videos.
The messengers. Sometimes we're
That
just carrying the message forward, you know?
maybe
I think that's what it is, man. We're channels sometimes where we have to get the message out there, and we don't know where it's coming from or why we're the person that has to, share it. But sometimes you're called on to share that message, and it's
because
good to
I
share.
just did it once as a tribute, and everybody was like, "Well, how come you don't just do it?" And I gave them this. I gave them that very same response. I was like, "Because it's not my thing." And one day somebody might tell me to stop doing it. So if one day somebody from the Kobe camp decides you shouldn't be doing this, I'll stop doing it. But until then, I'm gonna keep doing it.
Yeah, man, it's coming from the heart, and I think that's what people are recognizing when they feel that, and that's why they like it. And it's the same message from this aura thing. It's like I could feel it, they could feel it. It's different. It's something that's
And here
it's pure.
and here's the thing. And I don't mean to disrespect anybody or anything like that, but it doesn't matter to me if you don't believe that I'm that dude, because I believe it, and I'm bringing that energy every day.
That's the key, man. His quote, what was it? If there were stats for getting rebounds in practice and wiping up towel sweat, I'd be putting up Wilt Chamberlain numbers.
Yeah, I love that. That was awesome.
And they put that on his bio on the website by his manager thing, and then that started getting some love, and and it just all happened organically, not because he needed people to affirm that he was that. He and that team just continued to believe they're that dude, and they don't care what anybody thinks. They don't have to try to one up themselves. They are just walking it, and it's rare to see it in that final form. And that's maybe what the March Madness thing. It's just there's not as much of it, but there's a small, really potent seed of it
There's
within that
still
team.
magic. There's still magic.
Oh man, dude, the cheerleaders had his face all over the socks. It's like because they're rallying for something bigger than him. It's not him anymore. It's just the vibe. It's the aura, and I love that it became bigger than everybody. And he gets that. He's like, this ain't me, man. This is just what it is.
And that's just what it is. It's like the Deion Sanders thing I sent you. It's
Exact
same thing.
energy.
I told you I'd find it and I'd send it to you.
Yo,
And
keeper.
one of my favorite quote in there was, "You ain't make me, so you can't break me."
Not
You know?
stressed. I'm blessed.
Yeah, exactly. And I know we kind of went off on a 10-minute tangent here, but I think it's important that you believe in yourself as much as I believe in me and my boy G, because we're a team and we're going to take this thing and we're going to make the most of it.
Mhm.
And when Pepsi does come calling, we're going to be ready to talk numbers.
Yeah, man, and it's a scary thing, I think, for a lot of people, including myself, to think that we have that much power, that what we believe and think and then start doing can actually then turn into the thing that we want or, believe.
Yeah.
But we see
So,
it every
on
day.
that note, because I don't promote this often enough, drop a like and subscribe and all that good stuff.
Mm.
I'm the worst self promoter in the world
But I get better
because
at it
I was always taught
every day.
if you're that dude, you don't normally have to tell people you're that dude. But I
That's
say
it.
it
That's how you get better at it. You just be that dude.
because you know what I learned too? If I am that dude, other people will tell you, "Hey, you don't mess with that dude," or "That dude's on a whole nother." People will speak for you.
Man, I had a guy hand
Just
me a raise
believe it.
once, and he just showed me
Just
the front.
believe in yourself.
He's like, "Would you mess with that guy?" And there was something about this guy's eyes. Hey, it was like a painted picture of him and stuff too, but it was like, nope, I would not mess with that guy.
And you know
Don't
what
know what it was
I
about
love
him.
about that story? You know what
Mm,
I love about that story? He's the equipment manager and he's still like, "I'm that dude." Like you
dude,
expect that
that's
from the starting
cool.
point guard. You expect that from the starting point guard or the star of the team. You got the equipment manager believing he's that dude.
Dude, he's got
So it
them
doesn't matter what you're doing.
exactly. And that's what I really had my mind and heart blown by is the level of confidence with the level of I'm going to wipe up the sweat like as good as anybody does it. Like that mentality of working humble with absolute, hey man, when Nike phones, I'll sign the paper. I believe that I'm that dude is such a wicked combination of things to carry without it being egotistical whatsoever. It's kind of magic. It's aura.
Yeah. And that's the whole thing. And when he does get that Nike deal, I'll be the first one to come on here and I'll be pumping his tires. I'll be high fiving, I'll be clapping. If
Yo,
he signs that Nike deal, you best believe he's gonna get recognition from me.
if he signs that Nike deal, this is an open invitation to the universe to send the linkages to make a link to that dude for a podcast because I would
Can we
love
please get him no, this
just
is my plea to the public. If you see this podcast, and you make it to 39 minutes and 30 seconds into this podcast, and you have this kid's contact information, whether it be Twitter, email, or whatever the case may be, please, please let me have it so that we can at least reach out to him and see if he'll come on.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Let
know
him
we
represent his
talk.
game.
I know we talk about Chuck and all the big guys. You know what? If we can get this guy, that would make my 2025, bro. Seriously.
Big time, man. I haven't seen anything like it where it's just like it's an actual vibe that is making the thing viral. It's not that he has a this or that or this or that. It's like, no, it's pure heart. And so if we could make that happen, that is like the Mount Rushmore of it because oh,
That
so
that's what I mean. And my favorite part is like they're like, "How would you describe yourself in 3 words?" He says, "That's perfect. All I need is 3 words. I'm that dude." It was just the perfect thing, dude.
and the way he said it, he's oh perfect. You're just gonna cut me off after a sentence. It's that's all I got. Like, oh, that's all I need.
Yeah,
With just utter humility and utter confidence. It's so cool. And yeah, when the guys
it's so cool.
recognized it too, like the interview in the locker room after the McNeese win, right? And the guy's going to interview the players, but they're just like, get that out of my face. Go talk to Aura. They refuse to talk to the reporter. They send him to Aura.
Yeah, and that's just the way it is.
Yeah, man. And he's not even like sheepish or like, hoo, hoo, hoo. He's just like, hey, man.
But remember what I told you on Tuesday night or Wednesday night or whatever night it was we had the podcast this week because this is our second one. But remember what I told you: leaders are not chosen; they are found.
Brap. Exactly, man. If I had an air horn, that would have been hit right there, man, because that's it. And we just witnessed an entire country or world, I guess, find one at the same time like that. And it's just, mm, it
And
made
he
me,
motivates me. He motivates me to get up.
hey, man, exactly. Because we need it from different perspectives sometimes. It's cool to hear it from Steph Curry. It's cool to hear it from Patrick Mahomes. But it's also cool to hear from other people like coaches and da da da. But we've never quite heard it from equipment manager because they just wouldn't normally have a platform for it. And it just naturally came about. And wow, what a first one, right? Like he's got 3-0 deals. The first manager, Buffalo chicken wings or whatever it was, Buffalo spicy wings, even.
So, gee, let's get back to the hoops portion of this.
Yeah, that.
As Aura, if you catch this, please reach out to us though on one final note on that.
Amen.
Uh has any of this laziness in the NBA, I'm gonna call it laziness because I don't have a better word for it. Has it changed any of your trajectories as far as the big name players in the association in terms of their title hopes?
Mm. What? Throw some big names out there, and I'll see what we're talking about.
I mean, have these struggles of the Cavaliers and the Nuggets and any of these teams, has it startled you or changed your opinion of what might happen come playoff time?
Mm. That's a really good question, man. I feel the Nuggets thing we were both talking about earlier was we were feeling the same vibes. Like they just have something missing, something's not quite right. It's maybe an
There's something
injury
not
thing.
right in Denver, is there?
There's been too many instances of like, really? They're losing to this team? Like there's been multiple instances of that, and they haven't just consistently looked dominant at any point. So I don't have them as any sort of serious contender in my mind anymore. I just don't. So they're out in my. It's a 3-horse race in my mind: Celtics, Cavs,
Yeah.
and Thunder. But if out of those three you asked who's the weakest in my mind right now, it's probably the Cavs. and I would say it's Thunder Celtics and Celtics in six.
Whoa. Laying down the hammer before the
Mhm.
playoffs even get started. I love it, G. I love the moxie.
That's just where it came from. Just I got the lightning bolt and it made sense because yeah, Tatum goes
As
to
the
work.
president of the Austin Reeves fan club, self appointed, by the way, I've got to point out that the brother is flat out balling.
Amen.
and
Amen. I got nothing but positive
and
acknowledgement for
to
that.
that point, we had a mini argument last night on the phone where I said Austin could play it, and you're like, if anybody deserves a night to himself, it's Austin.
Yep.
So there you go.
Yeah, and I hope he
But
had one, man. I hope he got like to just chill. That guy has been carrying a lot of weight for a team that's needing a lot of weight lifted some nights. They've got some weak.
yeah, because you know what impresses me about Austin the most is that even when LeBron and Luca or any combination of the two is out, Austin just says, "I got this. Don't worry about it."
It's the consistency and the offensive, just really thrives as an offensive player. He's learned a lot from the best and made the most of that. Being in that camp because
And
he's so consistent. It's frustrating watching. You're like, damn, what? Like that as a third option, that's a backbreaker. That's what Phoenix dreamed about for Bradley Beal, right? That's their whole system. They see there is like, oh, two superstars plus a guy then who comes in and breaks your back when you think you've stopped those two. In comes out, but Bradley Beal was not Austin Reeves.
no, and would you say no? I'm gonna be the absolute homer here because to anybody who hasn't figured it out, I'm a huge Laker fan. In case nobody's figured that out. But I'm gonna put my vote down on this award right now. Most improved player of the year, Austin Reeves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think there's any contest. Who's taken a bigger leap in terms of impact? Because we're talking upper echelon impact could make them a contender. Like they could
Well, I
put them in
remember early
conversation.
in the year they were having conversations about DeJounte Murray and they were gonna trade Austin Reeves for DeJounte Murray. And I'm so glad that didn't happen.
I bet you JJ Redick had something to do with that. I think he's a big believer in Austin, and as he should be, as he should be. Because imagine the
You
future
know
being
what?
him and
Not to keep
Jokic.
harping on the Luke trade, but I will ask you this question. Why would you take Max Christie over Austin Reeves?
Maybe they wouldn't give up Austin Reeves.
That might be the answer right there. Because I'm like, if I had a choice between, and this is not a shot at Max Christie, this is how much I love Austin Reeves.
No,
If
imagine
you're telling
him
me,
and Kyrie and AD.
oh, that'd be insane, dude.
That's the contender there. Like, I think that's why he
That
couldn't do
that's
that
why I
deal.
said, why would you take Christie over Reeves? I don't understand.
Maybe that was the deal breaker. Honestly, what if that was the
Maybe
deal?
Austin wasn't on the table.
It's like we can talk all you want, but if that's included, we're not talking. And wow, well played. If he pulled that off and drew the line, because they probably
Because
were like,
because
whatever. Yeah, we don't need
because
to.
even when here's the thing that I'll take it a step further, just so people don't think I keep picking on the Mavs. I'll take it a step further. Even when they tried the deal for Mark Williams and the Charlotte Hornets, it was Dalton Connect, not Austin Reeves, that was
Hmm.
offered in that package.
And that was even almost a mistake because, as nice it would have been to have a functioning center or whatever you want to call it, like a big that's got some oomph to him. Um,
And
Dalton
I'm
Connect's
proud to
going to
say,
be the third option as soon as LeBron retires, and having him as a third option is like just
and
cloning Reeves. It's like, damn, that's pretty good. That's a good thing.
and I did say earlier in the year that Dalton would be a key piece for this Laker franchise.
Dude, it's
So
him, Reeves, and Doncic. It's the weirdest combination, but it's gonna thrive. I think it's so
I
lethal
think so too,
offensively.
because we can always get another center. Oh, and by the way,
You could get
it's
Maluch,
also come out. It's also come out that the Hornets are going to try and shop Mark Williams again in the offseason. So them blowing up at the Lakers for no reason, because I'm guessing they figured out that nobody was going to care about that. But
yeah.
they've now recommitted to shopping Mark Williams again in the offseason.
Hmm.
That seems a little suspicious to me, but I just thought I'd throw that out there.
Everything with Charlotte's suspicious to me, so I'm not even gonna touch that.
No, no, because they're sitting there and they're going, the Lakers pursued him, but and we're so happy to have him back, but we're gonna pursue another trade in the offseason with somebody. That
Hmm.
makes no sense to me, G. Doesn't exactly pass the smell test.
No, not a lot of things are these days where it's like, yeah, we got to keep things simple sometimes and enjoy it for what it is because, yeah, some real weird things going on a lot of the time. The beast of the draft is coming soon, and that's a big piece of our whole, watching these different teams try to get into contention because as we just saw with our convo here,
I
it,
just thought of
it
something.
ends pretty quick when we're talking about title hopes because it's not a big conversation. It's two, three teams. It's like,
Yeah.
we'll see if they stay healthy. Until then, there's not a whole lot to say. Sorry, I cut you off. What were you going to say?
No, I was just gonna say, Charlotte's one of those teams that's kind of fun to watch because they got Lamelo when Lamelo plays. But if you add a Cooper Flag to a Lamelo Ball, how drastically does that change Charlotte's fortunes?
Ugh, I don't know. I think that's actually a worst case scenario place for him, primarily just because the ball thing is such a big ego taking up air. I feel like that's so much oxygen being taken up by a guy that needs to take 25 shots to feel like he's been given his fair run for the day. And Cooper needs to just have his own team, man.
Well, where does he go? I
Utah, um, Washington.
As a Laker fan, I don't want to see him go to Danny Ainge. I can tell you that right now.
I'll tell you what, that's where he is going. But who knows?
It,
Who knows? New Orleans is going to make, I guess, a bat at that.
anyway, G, we're coming up on our 1 hour mark, which is what we kind of earmark these pods for nowadays.
Yeah, man.
Remember back in the day we used to spit for 2 hours?
Well, you got to remember, we talked for probably 40 minutes before we turned this thing on.
That's right. We should really film that just for like the behind the scenes like footage of stuff.
Hey, man, that's a good call. And you never know what gems might pop up in the rough jam sesh, right? Not a bad idea, actually. As soon as I hop on, just have it rolling, and then maybe that's too much editing or something, but we'll
Yeah,
figure out.
we
You could
kind of
always
take up a lot of airtime in between.
you could try to
But
do like 10
dude of
minutes.
the week, man.
Ooh, okay, man. He's a new one. It's NCAA themed this week, and I don't even know his name. Michigan State, 55. He's a man among boys. He jumps
All
high.
right. I'm gonna cheat because we spent 10 to 15 minutes talking about him already. Aura's my dude of the week, dude.
Oh, shout
That
out. Shout
that
out.
that that has to be. Him and I share him and I share a philosophy. So
Straight up, dude. When I heard it, I was like,
is that
oh,
Mo?
straight up, dude. And the fact that it's like game recognizes game. And man, I really am
I saw that and I'm like, is this dude like a long lost relative of mine from somewhere?
It's a unique energy, but it's recognized when it's there, man, and it's a blessing. And so it's always a blessing to
See,
chat with you, bro.
the beautiful thing about that energy though is it's never forced. That's the beautiful thing about it. But that's my dude of the week. Do you have a dud of the week?
You know, we might have to just put this on the NBA as the dud of the week this week because they haven't sorted out how to deal with this part of the season. I'm gonna give them a collective dud of the week for not really sorting this out here, and maybe Steve Kerr gets the other little bump on that.
I was gonna say Steve Kerr gets a little. No, I will say this before this pod ends because I think this is important because I'm hard on Tyloo. But I know Tyloo's not behind the bench right now. And if that's still the case by the time this recording comes out in the morning, Tyloo, all differences aside, get well, get back on the sidelines where you belong. I know I don't agree with your coaching style or anything like that, but health wise, get right, get well. And yeah, that's all I gotta say about that.
Hey man, Clippers are the dark horse of the West. You heard it here first. Because man, when I was watching tonight, is Kawhi looking fresher than ever? Oh yes, actually,
Well,
he is.
it
He
looks like
is.
they're gonna run into OKC, so
But hold on, to the viewers out there that are still with us, let me tell you a quick 10-second lineup that you just need to think about when you go to bed tonight. James Harden. He can shoot and pass really well.
Burger Boy. Okay. You
He's
got
he's
Burger Boy.
he's played like every single game. He's decent James Harden right now and has been all season. Norm Powell. He's on Austin
Norm of
Reeves.
the North. I love Norm of the North.
He's straight up Austin Reeves on the other side of town. He's so lethal right now. And Kawhi is healthy and back and he's starting to ramp up. That's 3. We then go to Zubac. Nice. He can shoot threes and
Remember how
create.
hurt I was when we traded Zubats?
And guess who they
I was
picked up
hurt
that
by
I
that.
forgot about? Is Bogdanovich, dude. And I know you were hurt by that because that is a hard piece to lose. He's actually a really, really good center, man. Like, he can go 20 and 20 and be like energized after. You've seen him in those
And I
post
think
game
Jakob
interviews.
Poeltl makes more money than Zubats, so I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Yo. So, dude, that's a 5 piece. Bogdanovich, I'm he's a lethal shooter, man, and he's a fat like he's an NBA high quality role player.
Can they beat the Thunder if it comes down to it?
That lineup, dude,
Can they beat the Thunder if it comes? I'm gonna put you on record. He's shaking his head. Yes, they could beat the Thunder.
dude, I'm
So
actually
in the
really confident they could.
so in the past 2 weeks, you heard in the past 2 weeks you've heard Jay's or G say that the Thunder are unstoppable. Then he went to I'm not sure about this Thunder squad, and
I
then it
my
went
favorite,
back to the Thunder are unbeatable, and now it's back to the Clippers could beat the Thunder. So
but dude,
you
if
never know
anybody
what you're
could
gonna
pick,
get.
yeah, no, true. They're my favorite still. But I watched the Clippers today, and I was like, oh shit, that's like a really, really high volume, good shooting team that in 4 games, those dudes have seen the big lights. They're all older than OKC, and Kawhi finishes games like nobody's business, offense and defense. We don't need to get into Kawhi, but he can have his moments. Let's say that.
No, Kawhi, when he can play, is still a great player.
Like he looks
And
light,
I
like he looks
like
thinner
you said, I don't want to get
now.
into it, but
Like he just looks fresh. When I saw him tonight, man, he just looked like they might have lost. I don't know, but like the signs that I was seeing from him of physically, I was like, ooh, that could
all
be a
right. Any parting words for the people, G?
man. Go enjoy some beautiful days of spring and the March Madness that we can all celebrate together as who knows what will happen. Got another set of games coming, and I can't wait for tomorrow morning, man.
9 a.m. Purdue versus McNeese State.
Let's go,
Feel
Aura.
the aura.
Amen. Let's go. I'm excited
Feel
for
the aura.
they're a fun
And
team to
like I
watch
said
too.
earlier in the podcast, believe in yourselves the way I do and the way Aura does, and you will be unstoppable. But with that being said, until next time, may your ego come from a place that keeps you humble. I'm Mo Money. He's G. Mamba out.